Hi guys! Here I am unpacking the Close to My Heart Workshop Your Way Fresh Air Scrapbooking Kit. And I have some extras here. I have the scrapbooking stamps, the card making stamps, some ink pads I'm going to need to make the cards, as well as the cards and envelopes. So all the Workshop Your Way kits come with instructions. The first thing you want to do is cut off the zip strips. All the papers have an extra ½ inch and it's called a zip strip, so you cut that off and you're going to use that in some of your layouts and cards. So I've cut off all of the zip strips and now we are going to look at our instruction sheet, and I'm just laying them out into different piles. So they're all labeled like 1A and 2A, and those correspond to the different layouts. So some of them need to be 12 inches long, some of them have different measurements. I'm just making my little piles. And I have my little baby with me if you're hearing weird noises in the background. Okay, and here I have different Ziploc bags. I get the big bags from Close to My Heart. I'll leave a link down below. And then the card bags I get off of Amazon. And I've just labeled them 1, 2, and 3 to correspond to the different layouts. And then the card ones are labeled 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm just breaking up the different cuts that I've already made into the bags, and then I'll continue to do that throughout my entire process. So later when I want to make a layout, I just have to grab the whole bag and everything's already in there. And it's ready to go. So there are all my bags, all labeled. And now we are going to cut apart the Picture My Life card. So all the paper packs come with sheets of Picture My Life cards. And these are nice. They're double-sided, so one side, they're the same on both sides, but one side is horizontal and the other side is vertical. And these you can use in pocket scrapbooking, or as you can see, we're going to use some in our traditional scrapbook layouts. So they have many uses. People also use them for card making. You can use them in the size that they come, or you can cut them up into whatever size you need. So now I'm just putting them in their different piles, layout 1, layout 2, and those will go into the bags. And then all the extra pieces, you'll see I keep them in the original workshop bags, so I can use those later for different projects. Now we get into cutting the paper, and so I love these guides because they tell you exactly which way you should position your paper. So you want to pay attention to the little pictures down at the bottom, and see we want our stripes running up and down, and then on the next page we cut, we want them horizontal. And then there's always a little scissor mark on the cutout guide where you should have your first cut. And I'm just going to go through, cut up the first piece of paper. And I like to make, there's different ways to do it. On this sheet, I made all my cuts and then I laid them out into the different piles. Sometimes I cut a strip, cut it into the right measurements. You'll have to find what works for you. Continue cutting. I have to keep raising up the instructions because it's getting harder for me to read things far away. And you should always measure twice, cut once. I'm always double checking. So what you can't see on camera is I'm making different piles. So if it has, a 1 in front of it, a 2, I put it in the different piles, and then once the sheet's all cut, I'll put them all into their bags. So that's the end of sheet 1, and now we're moving on to sheet 2, and it has a different orientation. And all these sheets are double-sided, so you might be focusing on one side while you're cutting, but there'll be a little asterisk, and that will indicate that you should be using the other side when you finally lay it down on your layout. So those are my extra pieces. I'm just putting those back into the Workshop Your Way bag that came with the kit. And then everything else will go into their bags, 1, 2, 3, etc. Now most of these cuts are going to be used in your layout just as is, but as you can see there's some blue outlined pieces and those are for your thin cut. So if you're going to make the optional cards and you've got the card making Stampin' Thin Cuts, you're cutting that piece and then later you're going to run it through your Big Shot or your Cuttlebug and make those additional cuts. And here again you see the blue outline, so we're cutting these strips of paper and getting them ready to use with our thin cuts. So if you are not doing the optional card making, you can skip those strips of paper. And then this white daisy sheet is we're only cutting for thin cuts. So here I got out my Big Shot and now we are going to do the thin cuts. Okay, so we have all of our thin cuts laid out, and so now I'm looking at the cards. I'm going to do my stamping ahead of time. Sorry, there's the baby again. Laying out the cards, the envelopes. Those are not included in the kit, but Close to My Heart does sell packs of 50 cards and envelopes. So I always have lots of those on hand. And I like to pre-fold my cards. And something I didn't know for a long time is the way you want to fold the card. So when it's scored, one part of the card is pushed in, and then the other side is pushed out. And the side with the ridge is the side that goes inside your card. Just gives you a much better fold. And I'm using the bone folder to flatten it out and keep them closed. And so this Workshop Your Way kit makes 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. So I'm just matching up cards and envelopes. As long as my kids are being good, I like to get as much prepped as I can. So some kits I don't go this far. I'll do the stamping and everything later. My kids are being super nice this day, so I got a lot done. It's very nice. So I'm getting out the stamps. All of our stamps come with this foam pad, which makes stamping nice and even. So don't throw away. It kind of looks like packaging, but it's not. It's there for stamping. I'm laying out the different inks I'm going to need. And these are new stamps, so something I learned to do is you rub the stamp on your skin. It kind of helps remove some of the oils that are used in when they're made. And then we're doing a 3 ink stamp process here. So that was my little test. So you're going to dip it in the first ink, get it all inked up, and then just part, see how it's kind of overhanging? You're just getting the ink on part of the stamp for the rest of the colors. And it gives it a really cool effect. It's kind of, I didn't do a good job showing it on camera, but it's really cool. Hopefully I gave you a good enough idea on how to do it. What's nice about the My Acrylic stamp sets are you can see through them, so you can line up your stamp on your cutout image, and then it's your paper, you can flip it over, which I had to do that first one. I don't know if you noticed. So you don't quite get it, just flip the paper over and try again. Now we're doing the stamps for the next card. I love this stamp set. Very neat sayings. I like the different shapes. And what's nice is these thin cuts don't have to be used with this stamp set. You can do, use them for different cards and layouts, and use them in backgrounds, and very versatile. So I'm putting them in their bag so everything's ready to go. I'm sliding the cards in there too, so it's, I like to make it as simple as possible for me when I want to make this stuff later. And then I'm using our stamp cleaner. I'll do a video on how to use that another time if you guys want to see that. I'm trying to figure out which way to put it on the block. You always want to use the smallest block possible with your stamps. Just makes stamping a little bit easier. So as you can see there, I put my stamp block, I put the stamp on the block at an angle. I don't know why I got rid of the foam mat there. I think I was just cleaning stuff up and not paying attention. It worked out okay though. There you can see I sprayed our stamp cleaning spray on the little scrubber, cleaned it off. And in the baggie it goes. You guys, one of the things I love about paper is that it's double-sided. So if you mess up, you can always just flip the paper over and stamp on the other side. And a lot of these kits, they give you extra paper. So, if you really mess up, you can just cut more white daisy cardstock, run it through your Big Shot or Cuttlebug or whatever die cutting machine you have, and stamp some more. It's not a big deal. Cleaning off my stamp, and then I'll put all those little images into their baggie. And there we have all 4 card kits ready to go when I'm ready for them. And now I am just looking at what background paper all the scrapbooking layouts need, and I'm just slipping that into their bags. These bags are big enough that they easily fit the 12 by 12 paper, no problem. So I'm just getting everything organized, finishing up my baggies. You'll see I'll lay them all out. Yeah, so that's my process. And then I have a plastic bin that I just got from Walmart. I'll try to find something from like Amazon or something to link below. But I keep everything in there until I'm ready to make them. And then I like to work through one whole kit before I start a new one. That way I can reuse the bin. And I don't have to have a ton of bins. And then the scraps are nice, to make little cards and stuff with. You'll have extra embellishments that you can make more layouts and cards with. So there's definitely extras in the kit. Thank you guys so much. Please let me know down below if there's any other videos that you guys would like me to do for you. Have a great day.